Hello, this is Dano, and I'm here with my co-host, Toddy Walker, my partner. We're here back with another episode of what's always been known to this point as Bourbon and Briar, but we've got a big announcement tonight. Henceforth, this podcast will be known as Drop the Needle, and I think we're both excited to change that title and maybe better encompass, better focus on the things that we actually talk about and the focus of the podcast, which is music, good music. Do you want to add anything?
Nope. I think you said it well. I like the use of the word henceforth. That was good.
It's
And
one of my favorite
yeah,
words.
the drop the needle kind of encompasses that golden era that we keep going back to. So I like the name change, and I think it actually gives us a little more latitude, if you will, on what we can discuss. So
Well, now
smooth move.
so I like that word latitude, man. That was a great pull right there, man, because it's exactly the point. One of the things that I wanted to touch on tonight was just the fact that um, by maybe labeling this podcast in a different way, we offer ourselves the opportunity to step into some of the dimensions of not only the golden era, but good music. And by the way, hey, some vinyl in a way that we hadn't been able to in the past. And so I think that we're opening up a door that lets us talk about things in a little bit different way, although we always withhold the right to go off the rails if we need to. I don't think we've ever put any
There we go.
guardrails in
Yeah.
place. All right, so tonight, um, just pulling a little bit more on the name change. The whole idea of vinyl is something that's coming full circle. It's a medium musically that I think started most of our musical experiences. I've got a show and tell here. Y'all ever
Oh,
seen one of these? Everything's reversed on this camera, and it really throws me. But anyway, um, 45 RPM record, and that one happens to be "You Make Me Feel Like Dancing" by Leo Sayer.
hey.
1976. Yeah, I was 15 years old. That musical thing was really just awakening in me. But those kinds of mediums are the things that our memories are made of, or at least a lot of our memories are made of. So, when you look through that lens of memories, what they're made of, musically, how they influenced us, you can't get away from vinyl. And you can't, I mean, it was, yeah, we transitioned, but yeah, it was there and now it's back. Cyclical. All right. So, Todd, when we talk about the overlap, if you will, of vinyl and that golden era of music that we talk about consistently, um, Pink Floyd, man,
Here we go.
if I could have every song that they've ever done on vinyl, yeah, right now it would be my go-to on a very regular basis. Yeah, that it's a huge experience, and it's bigger than vinyl. In your world, influences the experiences of moments that you experienced with Pink Floyd. Well, what would you talk about? What would you highlight?
Day one, March the 1st, 1973. I was 11 and rode with next door neighbor, as we've talked about before, to the music scene at the mall. Dark Side of the Moon was being released. Now, I
At
had no
11.
clue.
Wow.
I had no clue though. But my next door neighbor was, if I was 11, he was 17, I guess. So it was kind of one of them. Yeah, he asked if I wanted to ride with him. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'm 11-year-old. Hell yeah, I'll go. But when we get out there, he's buying Dark Side of the Moon. and he talked me into buying a copy of it. I had never heard the band. I knew absolutely nothing about it, and but I bought it and
but
got
yeah,
home. It was unlike anything I had ever heard before, ever. And I liked it, but I was intrigued by it. And then that started this. What had they done before? So I went back and over the next, I guess during junior high school, I listened to metal and then Adam Hartmother, and I just got in a way kind of consumed by it. I thought it was
metal being the mettle version
yes,
of
yeah,
as opposed to Ozzy. I listen to metal.
yeah, their album, and so it just there was something there that I connected with, and from that point forward, I was basically obsessed. I think Roger Waters is probably the absolute best lyricist of my lifetime. And that's pretty sporty considering, hell, I'm old as dirt, and there's been a lot of great songwriters during that same amount of time.
Yeah, man, you both. Man.
But his, um, the way he penned lyrics, the disassociation, just now, let me say this. He had to have Gilmore, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, you know, Gilmore maybe's not the greatest
And,
lyricist, but as a composer and where he, so as a tandem, and don't forget Richard
well,
Wright and Nick. I mean,
well,
I could go on and
but
on and on.
but Toddy, going back to your last point, he had to have Gilmore. Yeah, in order to reach that pinnacle, to reach that point that we um, know exists, we've experienced it. Yeah, he had to have Gilmore. I have examples of Roger Waters doing some amazing things without Gilmore.
Oh,
Different,
absolutely.
different, but
Amused to
amazing.
Death is a
Yeah.
fantastic record.
And so I'm just pointing out that had to have him maybe to reach that pinnacle, but
Well,
certainly not to expand his whole or produce the musical magic that he's capable of doing.
well, you can go from like Radio Chaos, Amused to Death, and don't
Mm,
get me wrong,
yeah,
they're great records
yeah,
and all, but they're here.
right.
You know, The Wall, Dark Side,
Mm,
Animals, Wish You Were Here. That's stratospheric. You know,
well,
it's when they
right.
what they done together was unequaled,
Yeah,
and
no, no,
um, they and in all
no,
honesty,
no. Yeah,
Gilmore needs Waters as well. You know, it's
man.
I
Now, oh,
like.
you just hit a tonic note right there, Toddy, because I've got examples of really great music by Gilmore
Hmm.
without Waters, and it's here,
There you go.
but it's not here. You hit a stratospheric note right there, man. That's important.
And so, and as this, I guess, love affair with Pink Floyd began to not only develop but evolve with me, John Sampson's brother, Scott, was in junior. We was, what, ninth grade. And Animals was released. And I was at John's house, and Scott comes in, talked for a minute, here. And he hands me his copy of Animals, but now he also says, bring this back tomorrow, and don't break my record. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you know Scott, but I imagine you want to
I
piss
do.
him
I
off.
do know Scott.
Yeah. So,
I wonder where this is going.
but I
Don't
took
bring it. Don't bring it.
that record home. Now, to this point, my knowledge was basically Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, which those two are extremely similar. And then now all of a sudden, Animals is on the scene. It was 180 degrees difference. It was raw. It was aggressive. It was shit. It was mean. Um,
Political.
yes, yeah. And so Scott played a huge role there. And then what? 2 years after that, the Walls released, and I think from that point forward, after I heard "Comfortably Numb," Yeah, for me, it was
So
probably over
it
because
was it was
I
all
like I've
history
told
from
you,
there.
um, to me, that is the absolute best song ever written, ever composed, ever recorded. It fits the bill of what is a great song. If you have a template, that's it. At
Comfortably
all.
numb. That's what
Yes,
we're talking about.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's and like I said, once again, if somebody tells me that it's not, they better have a damn good argument of why it's not.
All right. Well, so 2 minutes, you had to kind of go through Donnie's hierarchy of
There you go.
Pink Floyd albums. What would it look like? At least five. You don't have to go all the way,
And
one till X.
ranking them?
Yeah, just not. I don't like the word rank, Toddy. I like I like influence. I like thinking about how much has this influenced me? What kind of pull did it have on me? And if I had to go today and listen to one versus another, what would that look like? I don't know that. Maybe that is ranking. Maybe I don't know.
Well, and that's kind of that, and I reserve the right to change my mind tomorrow
Yeah.
at all. But I would have to say that as far as influence goes, it would be Dark Side of the Moon. It was the first record I heard. And that's what started me on this journey with Pink Floyd. Next, and if it, and now, and I would say The Wall would be next, and that would be one if I could listen, if I could only take one album to a desert island, it would be that one. And I'm sure a lot of people probably going, "What the hell?" But com- comfortably
I
numbs on
get you,
that
man.
record. Yeah, animals after that. Like I said, just due to its rawness, it was unlike anything they had done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
Not
the timing, Toddy, go back for just a second. Think about the timing. When they threw animals in the mix was not like during the early days when they were raw, if you will, experimental.
Yeah,
They had
the Fizz years.
mainstream ultra success, and they tell the record company, "This is what we're going to do next."
Right.
That had to be an interesting conversation, man. Because that was after Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, I think bands when they reach a certain point, whether that's in popularity or whatever, well,
It's
with that comes a level of, in some way, power
yeah.
that, okay, we'll give you an album, but we're
Mm.
going to give you the album we want to do. Don't give two shits if it gets played on the radio or not. This is what, and I'm here to tell you, not the first song from Animals did. There
Right.
wasn't a radio song
You,
on that record.
see my
And
point?
there you go. So, and really, off of the wall, I know another brick in the wall was released as a single. Comfortably Numb was released as a single, and I think that was it. Now, others found their way to the radio. Mother, one of my favorites, The Thin Ice. I love that song.
I do
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and it's what,
Mm,
maybe
mm,
2 minutes long, but it's
uh,
fantastic.
Yeah, there really wasn't anything that wasn't fantastic though, and it was always
No,
like a black market thing, Tiny. You mentioned, worked their way onto the radio, and that's the way it unfolded. You would find a DJ somewhere. It wasn't at WDIG, uh, but a DJ somewhere that said, "Hey, this is some good stuff. Y'all need to hear this." And at that point in time, there was still an opportunity for a DJ to decide to slip a record, a song into the mix. And that happened. And man, once it was heard, there was demand. And once there was demand, there was supply.
right. And it's funny you bring that up about disc jockeys because you remember the show WKRP in Cincinnati?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's an episode where with Dr. Johnny Fever, he puts on dogs from the animal, and he's kicked back in his booth. And let's face it, he's stoned as Jesus, which ain't nothing wrong with that. And but what was the radio station owner? Oh, big guy, Carlson. He comes in, stands there for a few minutes, and finally he asks, "Do I hear dogs barking?" Yeah, yeah. And he looks up at him. I do, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. So there's you a DJ that would play it.
Yes, it would.
Now this is not okay. That run from '73 to '79 of Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, Animals, Wall, unequaled. It's that what four record run, probably the best of all time, my
Yep,
opinion.
I
Now
agree.
that is not a slight of what happened before that, because I mean I like Saucer Full of Secrets, I like Pipers, Adam Hart Mother, Fat Old Son is a fantastic song.
Yeah.
Um, then you go, post Roger. I mean, I know the final cut, but by that time, and even the Wall to a lot of extent was just a Roger solo record.
Well, with some really fine solos by Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That uh, Momentary Lapse of Reason is probably, and don't get me wrong, I like that record, but it's probably my
I'm sorry, Toddy. Where are we on
least.
your list? Are we at number 6 or 8?
Oh, I walk through them all. Yeah, so Dark Side, The Wall, Animals. Wish You Were Here,
Yeah.
if for no other reason than Shine On, which I think is probably the quintessential Pink Floyd song. Yeah, it's
I like that word, man. That's a good
uh,
word because I love that
yeah,
song.
yeah,
Respect that
and
song.
I think that is probably their calling card. I do like the Division Bell, which I
Yeah.
think is really a David Gilmour solo album to some extent, but
Uh,
I like that record.
I agree. Yeah, I love it.
But now they're one of the few bands, and there's probably three, yeah, that I could say has never put out something that I don't like, and obviously Floyd's top of that list. And well, yeah, I can tell you who the other two are on a different day. Maybe you can figure it out. Uh, but it just everything they've done, I like it. I connect with it. It reaches me. It evokes an emotional response.
Yeah.
Might,
And
might be
go ahead.
it depends on yeah, what the song is, it could be sadness, could be happiness, could be you name it. Yeah,
Yep.
it's the spectrum, and
Yep.
but they tap into something, and I'm
Some
freaking grateful that they do. Uh,
sometimes, Toddy, for me, the word I don't know if it makes sense or not is determination. There are times when I listen to those guitar solos in Comfortably Numb, I feel this sense of determination. Like
yeah,
I'm going to bust through whatever wall I have to. And it's just the word I associate with that. And other songs, yeah, different emotions, but you're absolutely right.
and here's what I'll say: Gilmore, for me, is one of maybe a handful of guitar players. I think Jeff Beck can do this, Mark Knopfler, but they have a knack for being able to insert guitar solo in place of lyrics.
Yes. Yes.
And, you know, there's a lot of great guitar players that don't have that specific talent.
Yeah.
Uh, like I said, first three that come to mind that have that ability are Gilmore, Jeff Beck, and Knopfler. Yeah, he can do it. You don't have to tear up the fretboard, shred your guitar to pieces to get your point across.
Yeah.
Gilmore's subtleness is
Oh,
it
it's
drives that
art.
boat, man.
It's art, man. I mean,
Sure,
his
there
subtleness
you
is
go.
part of his art.
Yes,
And yeah, I listen to certain songs from Knopfler, and I come away thinking, that gum, man, that sounded like some punk rock, and then we listen to other songs, and it's just this very subtle, very in-depth, engaged set of chord progressions and picking and his finger picking that
yes,
turns it into something that is, uh, you yeah, hard to describe, but wouldn't be short of magnificent in my assessment of musicians.
I agree. Absolutely. And, and I think it was our last episode. I think I threw it out. Somebody didn't like Steely Dan.
Yes,
Well, you know, cut them loose.
cut them loose.
You know, I'll go one step further. If someone tells you they don't like Pink Floyd, shit, flip them off and be done with them too.
Yeah.
Now I get it's not for everyone, but if they don't like it, they're probably not my kind of guy. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's my words here, best I can do right now. That judgmental aspect that kind of goes along with a band like Pink Floyd. I mean, honestly, a guy coming out of the aerospace industry and openly openly saying, "I've come out of the closet. I'm a Pink Floyd fan." Woo! Now there was a moment of murmur there that said, I hope that was okay, but it had nothing else to do other than appreciation of an incredible compilation of musicians that together were so much greater than just the sum of their parts.
there you
And
go.
ultimately, what was fulfilling to me was that I found other people in that ecosphere that I existed that said,
Mhm.
and it was just like we almost had to walk around whispering it. Uh, But yeah, at least
Well,
for me, it never was much of a constraint. You know me, Toddy.
uh, and I do think some of it people allow, in this case, Roger Waters' politics to skew their opinion of what he's created. I remember when, what was it, 2017, we went and saw, Waters in Atlanta. And I remember we was walking out and there were two guys about to come to blows over, obviously Waters was and is not I'll just say a huge supporter of the current president. And one guy was pissed, one's not. They're about, to mix it up. And I remember thinking, who the hell goes to a concert to get, political commentary?
Not me.
I, you pretty much know where Roger Waters stands, and if so if you think you're gonna get pissed, you might not want to go to the
I,
concert.
I'm I,
But
I'm there based on my appreciation of the musical ability.
there you go. There you go. It would be kind of like and that's on both sides of the aisle, so to speak.
Yep.
If you're a bleeding heart liberal, you might not want to go see Ted Nugent. Just saying. Yeah,
That's a hell of an observation here, Toddy.
but is it not correct?
It is correct, sir.
Or, or you can go, but you're probably gonna get pissed. So, but my thought there's, and I think Neil Young and Springsteen kind of fall in that same, you know, realm. People kind of dismiss them because of their political views, and you start doing that shit, you start limiting or preventing yourself from enjoying some damn good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to touch. I'm going to asymptotically approach, and a lot of people might understand what that means. It's one of my engineering favorite terms. But when we were in our teenage years, and Elton John was like the thing, and all of a sudden, all these stories about, Elton John's gay. I'm not even sure what I know that's what it means. Yeah, I'm 13, 14, 15 years old. Anyway, my point is at that moment in my life and many teenagers' lives, you can fast forward to any situation today. There's a point where, oh, I really like the music that this artist produces, but now I'm being told that X. Um, can they be separated? I think they can. Obviously, I
Sure,
did.
absolutely.
I was am huge Elton John fan. Had the privilege of seeing him. You go back to that comment that you had last time, Toddy, about artists that you've had the opportunities to see. Well, I got to see Elton John, and I
Yes,
mean up close. And he's been a hero of mine my entire, at least during the life that I've been musically aware. And what his philosophical views are, his political views,
who
his
cares?
other views, that's not what I'm speaking to. I'm
No.
saying he's a hell of an artist and I appreciate what he does and I really like it. So, peace.
Therefore, you have also what somebody their political views are like whatever. This is about music, and it's not about politics. It's not about any of that. It's about
Right.
good music. I think in this case, you're talking about Elton. He falls in that category, and we know Pink Floyd did. And for me, if I how can I put this? If I could only listen to one band from here on out, that I could have every album in their catalog, but that's all I could ever listen to. I'd be good. I could take their records and I that's all I need.
That,
Now
that,
that says a lot for a band.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But that proverbial shipwrecked on an island can only have 10 songs or 10 albums or 10 bands that we have worked through so many times over the years and reserve the right to come back and change our answers at times. So a couple things though, because we're getting close on
But
time here, Toddy. Um,
before we go though, like you asked me that, like, what was your pivotal moment for Pink Floyd?
as far as pivotal moment, it was the opening moments of Animals. I had heard, obviously, many other Pink Floyd songs, albums. I was amused by them. I was amazed by them. I was moved by them in some way that I didn't understand. But it wasn't until I heard the opening moments of Animals that something clicked and it kind of all made sense. And then when I went back from there, um, it was essentially a set of building blocks that had turned into this amazing story of a band that could provide you this experience, musical experience that, and I'm sorry, I'm struggling with words, but this is
No,
this is a deep subject for me, and I want to get it right. And we do this live, and but they produce this musical experience that made it. It's going to sound weird again. It made me see sound. See what it did there? In a different dimension. Uh, ooh, please don't call anybody right now. I'm speaking my mind, but I don't need to be carried anywhere. Anyway, Animals. And once I heard it, everything else snapped into focus.
there you go. And I think too with Floyd, and this can be said for a lot of bands during this era, but they done something that had not been done before. They created a sound that had not been done before. They kind of charted their own, and I know they, we'll say the kings of, progressive rock. And there would have been some others that had followed suit after that, Supertramp, maybe, yes. Adam Parsons Project. Uh, but at the time in 1973, there's nothing been done even remotely similar to Dark Side.
Okay,
And it's just
so,
like the
but
song.
Tony, I got to jump in here though because we'll lose this. But you just mentioned Alan Parsons Project in the same line of words that included Dark Side of the Moon, and
Yeah,
where Alan Parsons sat
Mhm.
in The Dark Side of the Moon.
He was the
He
engineer.
produced it.
Yep.
It wouldn't be there except for Alan Parsons.
There you go. And, can I put this? They had the good fortune. They worked with a lot of great producers. Bob Ezrin, in
Mm,
the Wall. Um,
yeah.
they always had a knack of finding that right person to take what they've done, tweak it, put it on a record. This song here, that song. You know as well as I do. You buy a Pink Floyd album, you put it on at the very first, and you play it all the way through the end. There's no, I'm gonna listen to this. It's not like Boston's album.
It's
Not
not a
not a knock
collection
on
of
Boston.
singles.
Hey,
No
there you
Taylor
go.
Swift here.
Well, I don't know if I'd put Boston in the same category with the Swifties,
No,
but I get your
I'm
point.
contrasting with the Pinkies. I just created that word.
We can go with it. Absolutely. But it was, from start to end, it's just one long song. And
Yeah, yeah,
it tells that
yes,
story. And
man, you have you have this way to just reach in and touch on something that is it's obvious in my head, but I've never said it. And what you just said, it's how it connects.
yeah,
Oh, it's
they
more
were
than
great.
just it's more than just hearing music. If I could have
Well,
to end,
let me adjust what you said. It's more than listening to music. You got to hear it. And there
yes,
is a difference.
there's a big difference. So if I'm looking at time, Tony, and I'm trying to bring us
Wrap
home
them up.
here. But our new music moment, I'm going to introduce that, and so I can clip this previous part out, and we'll start there.
All right.
So you had some new music you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah. So as we've discussed, what this podcast has done is, like I said, because I get kind of locked into the stuff that I like that came from that golden era.
Right.
Uh, so as you and I started on this venture, I guess I'll call it. Yeah, we both, we know there's good music out there. We just got to
It's
find it.
something. I don't know what.
And so I've started, and it's been enjoyable. And I have really found some new music that is damn good. This week, there's a band called the Teskey Brothers, two brothers from Australia. They actually play almost like a blues soul kind of mixture.
Is it a 2 instrument band?
No, no, no. It's the two brothers front, you know,
Okay.
the remaining band. But yeah,
And then they have a
um,
bass player and a drummer
yes.
and okay.
And so check them out. The Teskey Brothers. I've been impressed. You know, they have actually been on the scene for about, from what I can tell, 4 to 5 years. But just
45
released
years. Damn, they
four
must
to
be
five.
ancient.
Hell, they old as we are. Now, but give them a listen. Oh, and before we wrap it up, let me point out here, Steve's not one of the escaped monkeys in Mississippi. What was it? An angry horde of aggressive monkeys.
Lord.
No,
In Mississippi.
somewhere around Heidelberg, Mississippi. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was informed about their escape by cousin Wade. So, for the monkey's
oh,
sake, they might better stay, or he'll have one capped for us over.
yeah, cousin Wade would have access to that kind of information. He probably
Yeah,
had an alert pop up on his phone. Monkey's loose.
yeah.
Gettysburg.
And if they cross over into Cuba, Alabama, one of them will probably be tapped.
But and mounted.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, before we leave, a couple of just miscellaneous little pieces here, and going back to the little bit of vinyl mentioned in the what are we going to talk about. I have been fighting with something that I don't know if anybody else who is in the new era of playing vinyl has dealt with, and that is we now have subwoofers, and subwoofers produce a lot of vibration. And that vibration is the enemy of the needle that's trying to play your
Mm.
vinyl. And I have fought with that and fought with that. And there are a lot of, I guess, remedies that are out there. And this is not to suggest that it will solve everybody's problem or anybody's, but it solved mine. And that was the dust cover. I've always
Ah,
thought the dust cover on the record player was incredibly important. You gotta preserve it. And in my head, for some reason, I felt like it was an insulator, like an acoustic insulator. Well, as it turns out, not so much. It actually was an amplifier, sort of like a drum head. And so taking that dust cover off made a huge difference. And if anybody else is having anything related to that, that's an experience I'll share. Um, Last thing, Toddy, I think we're at 40 minutes. I think I need to stop talking.
and so we'll wrap it up. But let me say this before we go. All right, once
Well,
you
hold on.
get this,
We need to set a like a action so that I can smoothly cut it, edit it. So you want to set it up that way where you're, you know, and as we get ready to leave or whatever you want to say,
that'll
but
work.
all right, give me
As
just
we're
a second
closing it
here.
out.
And then when you see this, it means action. Ready? Hang on.
All right. So as we wrap it up tonight, once you get this posted or whatever we call it, people that watch,
Whatever we call it.
that's it.
We send
It-
it by mail.
That's right. Pony Express. But if you disagree with any of, we'll say mine and Dano's comments regarding Pink Floyd, post them, put them out there. We'll read them. We may or may not reply to them. If they piss us off, we might. Yeah. So,
I
but
might
yeah,
not even like them.
but but give us some feedback, and once again, as I always say, if you disagree, that's fine, but tell me why, and then we'll discuss it, on down the line somewhere. So, Dano, it's been fun as always, brother.
Appreciate it, Toddy. Had a great time. Good discussion. And I keep trying to emphasize, at least for now, our primary course for comments is through Facebook. We're going to try to expand that to a little bit bigger set of opportunities.
There you go.
But hit us with your
And,
comments. Let us know
yeah,
what you want to hear that you're not hearing already. Feedback from you guys is what helps us get better. Buddy,
and ultimately,
enjoyed it.
we'll get to where y'all can call in, and we'll argue in person. So
Oh, won't that be fun?
that's
All
it.
right.
All right, Daddy-O, have a good one, man.
Enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. See you, bro.